Welcome to the Class 3A Playoff Prediction Show here on Kpreps.com. Matt Gilmore from Kpreps.com, Chet Copeland from Kansas-Sports.com, and Connor Nickel from the Hayes Daily News is our guest. I'm Mike Snow. We're going to go through and pick the entire playoff bracket here in Class 3A. We'll start with Chet Copeland from Kansas-Sports.com. First matchup, Hiawatha host Riley County.
I got Hiawatha in that. They've lost 3 games by a combined 8 points. I think they get it done.
Matt Gilmore from Kpreps.com. Silver Lake hosts St. Mary's.
Yeah, Mid-East League foes who already met in Week 5. Silver Lake rallied to win that one 33-22. It's playoff time, and that means it's time for the Eagles to do well, and I think they'll move on to the second round.
Eureka is on the road at Wellsville. Matt?
Well, I like Wellsville on this one. A program that's been pretty strong over recent weeks, and I think they move on.
Caney Valley hosts Colgan. Chet Copeland from Kansas-Sports.com. Who do you like?
I think this is going to be a close one, but I'm going to go with Caney Valley and their stud quarterback, the state discus champion, Levi Wyrick.
So we move down the bracket here in Class 3A. Nemaha Valley takes on Sabetha. Matt?
Nemaha Valley wins the regular season game 28-21, so certainly a close one there. I like the Raiders to move on. Remember, it's their last season as well, as they'll combine with B&B next year.
Rossville and Pleasant Ridge. Chet?
Rossville big. Really, Pleasant Ridge got blown away by Silver Lake, a team Rossville beat, so Rossville cruises on.
And the other matchup in Class 3A will stay with Chet Copeland. Humboldt against Central Heights.
I think this is going to be a close one in this matchup, but right now I'm going to go with Humboldt and the way they're playing.
And we'll stay with Chet again. Another one in southeast Kansas. Galena takes on Cherryville.
Galena will win big time in this matchup. Galena is a team to definitely look for in 3A.
Let's move to the other side of the bracket and bring back Matt Gilmore from Kpreps.com. Conway Springs against Wichita Independent.
Well, Conway won this 64-6 in the regular season. It'll be no different this time. Conway rolls on.
What about Kingman and Halstead, Matt?
A great story. Kingman back in the playoffs for the first time since 2005. They beat Halstead 28-21 back in Week 6. Look for the Eagles to get another close win and advance in the playoffs.
We'll bring in Connor Nickel from the Hayes Daily News. Salinas Sacred Heart host Phillipsburg. Connor?
This is going to be a great matchup. Sacred Heart has qualified for the playoffs basically every year over the last 10 years, but has had trouble in those first-round games, and has especially had trouble against physical teams. Peaburg is a very physical, defensive-minded team, and they find a way here to win.
We'll stay with you, Connor. Scott City against Lakin.
Scott City lost a ton off of their 3A state team from last year. I believe Lakin has lost in the first round of the playoffs now in their last 8 trips. Scott here for the win.
Douglas at Sedgwick, Matt.
Well, Sedgwick just too much offense and too many weapons with Bradley Ware at quarterback, Dalton Brand at running back. I think the Cardinals move on.
Matt, Marion host Hutch Trinity.
Marion won this game earlier this season, 19-10, beat the Celtics back in Week 6. Again, 2 Heart of America League foes. I look for the Warriors to move on to the second round.
We bring back Chet Copeland from Kansas-Sports.com. Beloit hosts Southeast of Saline.
This is a rematch of Week 6 when Beloit won 42-0. Really, Beloit is my favorite right now in Class 3A. Beloit cruises on.
And our final matchup in the first round in Class 3A, Connor Nickel from the Hayes Daily News. Holcomb hosts Hoisington.
This is going to be a really good matchup. Holcomb has been extremely battle-tested. Hoisington, this is a very young team, and I think Holcomb wins here.
Let's move to the regional round. And with Matt Gilmore, we've got Hiawatha against Silver Lake.
Rematch of the second round from last season, which Silver Lake won 63-26. I like for Silver Lake to move on again.
Caney Valley and Wellsville. Chet?
I got Caney Valley rolling on in this matchup. Really, I think they're going to get a big win in this one.
Rossville against Nemaha Valley. Matt?
I like Rossville again. I think with the skill kids they have, Tucker Horak at quarterback, and I think Rossville is setting themselves up for a good run here.
Galena and Humboldt. Chet?
I got Galena winning big in this matchup. Galena will keep it on the ground with their stud running backs and offensive line, and I think they will roll past Humboldt.
Let's move to the other side of the bracket. Conway Springs takes on Kingman. Matt?
Well, I think Conway has too much. Dakota Finstad, is an outstanding player for them, and I look for the Cardinals to move on.
Phillipsburg and Scott City. Connor?
This is a great matchup. I think that Peaburg's experience, a lot of senior players on that team, allows them to beat Scott here and move on.
Our next matchup, Sedgwick and Marion. Matt Gilmore from Kpreps.com. Who do you like?
I like Sedgwick. I think they beat their Heart of America League rivals, Marion, and move on into the quarterfinals.
Connor, Beloit or Holcomb?
The Trojans, I'm going to really agree with you here. Trojans are my pick in 3A, and I think they win here.
Back to the top as we move to the sectionals here in Class 3A, Silver Lake and Caney Valley.
Yeah, interesting matchup. This is a game that we had kind of circled last year because these two met in this round, and Silver Lake won on the road to Caney and won 40-0, and so that was really an eye-opener. Not that they won, but just how they won. Silver Lake, again, their quarterback, Dalen Kruger, has been banged up with a knee injury. His effectiveness will be key for the Eagles to make a playoff run, but I think they have enough to beat Caney in this matchup.
Chet, Rossville and Galena.
I'm going to go with Galena in this matchup. I think that Galena is just going to have too much, only one loss on the year. I think they've just played better opponents all year, and their line play has been better than Galena's line play has ever been there, and I think Galena will roll into Sub-State.
Who do you like, Matt? Conway Springs or Phillipsburg?
Well, this is a tough one for me. I think Conway Springs is playing really well. They lost quite a bit off of last year's team. As Connor mentioned, Phillipsburg is a very experienced team and certainly played really well against Beloit early on. It's tough to tell where this thing may be at this point, but I think Conway, maybe their experience in the playoffs and making deep playoff runs maybe gives them a slight advantage. Wouldn't be surprised either way, but I'll take Conway.
And our final matchup in sectionals, we go back to Connor Nickel from Hayes Daily News, Sedgwick and Beloit.
The Trojans, their offense, obviously, Sedgwick with Ware, a quarterback, has put up big numbers, but the Trojans across the board, just a great offense year in and year out, and they find a way here to win.
Let's move to the sub-state round, the Final Four, Silver Lake and Galena. Chet, who do you like?
I'm going to go with Silver Lake in this matchup. I just think that the Eagles have been to the playoffs and the state championship too many times for Galena to come in and knock them off. I think Silver Lake finds a way to get it done, as they do every year. They've really only missed the state championship game one time since 2002, and that was in the 2009 season when they slipped up against Marysville. So I have Silver Lake going back to the 3A state championship game.
So we've got one side set. Let's go to the finals, the sub-state. Conway Springs or Beloit, Connor?
This is going to be an outstanding matchup. Conway Springs' single wing offense against the Trojans' double wing offense. The Trojans have knocked on that door several times in recent years. 2 sub-state bursts in the past 4 years, but they lost both of those games. I think this time the Trojans win and move on to the state.
Matt, do you agree with those picks, and who do you like to win it all?
Well, I do in that case, but we've got to remember we're taking an early look here, and there's teams out there like Rossville and Phillipsburg, and on down the line, Sedgwick, who Caney Valley, who we could be talking about in these spots, and so but at this point in the game, Silver Lake and Beloit, that would be an outstanding matchup. Beloit, as Connor mentioned, has always been so close in getting there. They've got a 4-year starter at quarterback in Peyton Vetter. They've got the talent as far as Bo Beheimer, who's just a speedster, an outstanding running back and return guy. I think Beloit could get a win and finally break through and win that state title.
Who do you like in the state championship? Chet Copeland from Kansas-Sports.com, Silver Lake or Beloit?
I got to go with Beloit. I think they keep it rolling and get their first state title since 1996 when they did it in Class 3A. I think Beloit will be the Class 3A state champion.
Connor, do you agree with that?
Yes, exactly. Trojans, I agree. Peyton Vetter's been a great quarterback all 4 years, and no one has been able to really slow down their offense. No team in Kansas has scored more points than the Trojans in the past 5 years, and I still feel even for a state championship game, the Trojans' offense is just too strong.
And that's a look at our playoff prediction show for Class 3A here on Kpreps.com.